Hello guys and welcome back to the weekend roundup where we go through all of the Premier League action for the week and the FA Cup this weekend, with it being an FA Cup weekend, and then head on to my team of the week and also onto my talking about all the other leagues in Europe as well, the top 5 mainly and the Championship as well, and then finally head on to the topic of the week. This week's topic is the FA Cup controversy that we have to talk about, which is that the replays are being scrapped, which is a pretty disgusting thing, but we'll move on to that at the end. Starting with the FA Cup though, the results that happened this weekend, it was City versus Chelsea in the first game, ending 1-0 to City. Silva snatching at the late, Jackson had the chances, Chelsea had the chances all round, and in all fairness as well, they probably should have got a draw out of it. Petrus had a great game trying to keep the clean sheet, but he didn't. However, it did hit Grealish's arm. That free kick, there's a free kick and it comes in and it hits Grealish's arm from Palmer, and it should have been a penalty. The position it was in, it should have been a penalty, and the game should have been 1-1. It should have been 1-0 to Chelsea, because it would have been 1-0 at the point, and then it kind of would have demotivated City as well, because the problem with the City side is they don't have anyone that shows up in these massive moments in the finals anymore. They have Rodri still, but it's going to be an interesting final, because Man United got there, but they made it hard for themselves, going 3-0 up and then losing that lead through a good first goal, and a deflected second goal, and then a penalty to get the third goal. Coventry fought back into the game and got their way to penalties, where United beat them 4-2. They gave me so much pain all the time. It just hurts. It just hurts being a United fan sometimes, I tell you now. We had a really good start to the game, and it was like, it's positive this, and then it just fell apart. The team got too tired, as it has in all season. And penalties get the job done. There's a few players from that Coventry game that now I reckon smaller Prem teams can be looking at and going, I might try and take them later, but we'll leave that for now. Going on to the Premier League, we're going to start, as we always do, with the title race, and the first game of that we're going to talk about is Fulham versus Liverpool. Finishing 3-1 to Liverpool. Trent is back. Trent scored on his full game back, and he's just he looked like Liverpool didn't do a day out of him. He looked like he'd not been injured. He just come straight back in and went, this is what I do, this is what I do. Alisson really had a good game as well. Back in the team now for instead of Keller. That was last week obviously, but Alisson firmly back in the team now and firmly putting a good result to put Liverpool with 3 points there. He made a lot of saves, and even the goal that they scored was made after like 3 Alisson saves, and then put it out and then goal in from Castagna. And then Arsenal versus Wolves, ending 2-0 to Arsenal against Wolves. Wolves, without a lot of players, they've had a lot of injuries, they've had a hard season this season, and they're kind of getting a bit depleted, but they're still pushing on a bit for Europe. We'll see if they manage to get that. But they're getting the job done. They're getting the job done, Arsenal. Knocked out of the Champions League by Bayern Munich last Wednesday. They're getting the job done that's needed to be done. So, fair play. Right, and then on to the actual league now. I'm going to start with some big results. There were some massive results this week. We're going to start with Brentford's 5-1 demolition of Luton. And it just shows it's been a long season for Luton. It has been a long season for Luton. They've been a fish out of water. It's been insane from that. They've even had to put this challenge up. Everyone was like, no, Luton are done. Luton are going to do nothing. Luton are going to be bottom of the league. Goodbye, see you later. Been a nice journey for you. But they thought they could still stay up. And if they do stay up, they'll have a lot of changes to make. They'll be proud of themselves. They've had a really good season, no matter how they look at it. Luton have had a good season. This was the best an away team has played at Kenilworth Road, I'd say, in that 5-1. Like, as a whole team, Brentford played really well as a team. And that was a worry that I had for Brentford coming to next season. If they're going to potentially lose Tony, they've not got Tony now. They've had not had Tony for a lot of the season, and when he kind of missed him, but not missed him where as much as people thought they might. And it does still leave the worry of where Brentford next season, when the higher calibre teams come up next year, like Leicester or Leeds or Southampton or Ipswich, who do look like they are going to be in the league and just coming straight away. But we thought that this year with Burnley, and they've shown they can't do it. They can't make that step up. But I think the managerial differences there as well with them. So Brentford might have a bit of a struggle next season, but it's a good performance from him. Good all-round Lewis Potter had a really good game. That's what I'm going to say. Burnley versus Sheffield. Massive game down at the bottom end of the table. Luton and Brentford's a big bottom end of the end of the table game. Brentford obviously pushing to probably survive now. Burnley versus Sheffield puts Burnley in a good position to try and survive. I don't think they're going to survive now. I think it is a bit too much of a late push with the games that they've got ahead of them. But Sheffield are down and dead now. They've not been officially relegated, but they will be in the coming weeks. It's going to be soon. They're going to be the first one to go. See ya. It's been nice. I'm kind of bored of seeing Sheffield in the Prem though. Diaz gave his chances, but he just wasn't good enough. Once again, it's just how Sheffield have been all season. Burnley had a good game, but it wasn't a great game. It wasn't a great game for Burnley. It was just a poor game from Sheffield, as it has been all season. Once again, Hamer, too good for Sheffield. He's going to leave. As soon as the chance comes along for him to leave this summer, he's going to go. I've had a lot of Sheffield fans say it's going to be a lot of money to get him off. No, it won't be. It'll be like 15 mil. Done. See ya. Out the window. Everton versus Forest, another massive game down at the relegation side of the table. There's a lot of relegation games this weekend. It was, a pretty big relegation weekend with the FA Cup being on, taking out the bigger games. Everton beating Forest 2-0. It wasn't as cut and dry though. It wasn't that cut and dry. Forest actually released a statement about how bad the refereeing was in this game on Twitter. Very unprofessional, I'd say, but they released a statement on Twitter talking about how poor the performance was from the referee, and that VAR, they'd questioned him because he was a Luton fan who's down there in the relegation zone and he shouldn't be refereeing the game, which is fair enough. Referees that have a interference in the game shouldn't have other things on their mind. But in all fairness, if he was dodging up the game, he'd want to draw for this game so that it gives Luton the fairest opportunity to get up, not just kicking one of the teams down. But yeah, I kind of understand the penalties. Like the first one, it's a bit of it's a tap, it's nothing. Reina plants his foot and then dives. It's a dive. The handball, I kind of get the turning of it, but it got given against Wan-Bissaka in the United game, so why can't it get given there? We don't know. And then Young was fault for all three. It's crazy. I don't know if you've seen Young's post-match interview, and he was like, so do you think this is wrong? And he goes, well, they got them all right, didn't they? Because they didn't get given. And it's like, ooh, it's a bit, gobby, leave it. But that last one on Calmus and Odoi should have been a penalty. It should have been a penalty. He got away with it. Everton have got away with it, but he got a clean sheet. They moved on. Idris Guy and McNeil scoring from range, to be fair. Probably savable shots, both of them, but not saved. 2-0 Everton. Push for that survival place. Two teams with point deductions this season. It's going to be a tough fight down there. Villa versus Bournemouth. One that Bournemouth might have had a chance in a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know. I feel like that form's kind of gone from now. Slanky now on 18 goals from this game in the 3-1 result that it was. But Rodgers and Watkins were having a great game. Diaby as well and Baylor. That attack was just smooth, free flowing, having a good time and fun to watch. That's what I've got to say. It's fun to watch football, and that's at the end of it what football is about. I'm sure Villa fans are loving life right now because they're going to the ground and enjoying what they're watching. They've enjoyed some good results this season, and they've enjoyed the games against Arsenal, they've enjoyed the games against City. They probably didn't enjoy the game against United, which is funny enough because as a United fan I've not enjoyed most games this year apart from the ones against Villa. But anyway, Palace versus West Ham, the last Premier League game for me to talk about now, was 5-2, the biggest result of the weekend. Huge result, 7 goals, crazy stuff. West Ham seem to just do this every now and then, just kind of get ripped apart and hold 5 goals to a team. They did it to Arsenal, they did it to Liverpool, and now Palace have done it. But it was a great game. It was a great game from Eze, Elise, Mateta and co. Just tearing up, doing the bits, doing the work, and it's fun to watch. I like Palace. Palace are a good team to watch. So if you don't watch Palace usually, guys, honestly check them out because Eze and Elise, they're just fun players to watch, as they are all the time. I think they did last year when it was like a 5-3 against Leeds, and Edouard did. Just watch Palace. What end of the season Palace when they're trying to push away from that relegation? Like, no, we might get top half. They're doing all right. But anyway, on to the team of the week, and there is actually a couple FA Cup editions into this, but usually it is with Premier League, but we're going to do a bit of FA Cup because Petrovic gets in there. He had a great game, as I spoke about. He had a great game against City. Unlucky not to keep his clean sheet. He didn't keep his clean sheet, but he's going to get the recognition he deserves for the saves that he made. Trent, as I said, come back into the team, had a good time, got a goal, gets into this team. Assignon had a good game against Sheffield. He could have had a better game, but it was a good game, so he gets in the team. And then Tavares, who had a great game against United, been involved in a lot of the goals and caused a lot of damage on that right side for Coventry against us, which was really painful. And then coming into midfield, I've got 4 midfielders for you. I've got Lewis Potter, who I mentioned, having a good game against Luton. We've got just Ghana Guy scoring a goal, finally, and a big result for Everton. So yeah, Ghana Guy gets the team. And then Eze and Elise either side of him, because they were just cooking. They were just chefing it up today, and it was fun to watch. And then front three of Mateta, Visser and Watkins, all been involved in 2 goals minimum, and having a good time while doing it. Now on to the other leagues. We'll start with the Championship, and Leicester go top with 3 games to go. It's getting close now. Southampton drop points though and kind of put themselves out of contention for them automatic spaces now. I think it is all down to Leeds, Ipswich and Leicester, but they do hold a massive game tomorrow night against Leicester. Leicester versus Southampton. It's going to be a one to watch. It is going to be a one to watch. Birmingham make a chase for, they get some points and try and survive with a big 3-0 win. And then Huddersfield get absolutely smashed 4-0 by Swansea, and it seems like they're down and out. I'm going to say goodbye Huddersfield from the Championship. Serie A, Juve drop more points, and it puts a big mark onto the Milan derby tonight. Inter versus AC. If Inter win the game, they win the league. They win their 20th Serie A and get a second star above their badge. It's going to be an interesting one. Milan have got to show up tonight. AC have got to be fighting for it. You don't want your rivals to win the league against you. So I imagine AC Milan are going to show up tonight. League 1, Brest fall short to Monaco. Monaco jump over them into second place. So Brest, they're struggling. They might not get that Champions League spot that you think they might. And then PSG versus Lyon. Well, 4-1. PSG just pushed them aside and went, no, we're taking it, by the way. We are going to move on. And get 4-1. Matic scoring an own goal early on. It kind of all fell downhill from there. Goncalo Ramos getting 2 goals. An interesting game indeed. Into La Liga, and it was El Clasico, the game everyone has their eyes on at all times, and what a game it was. Barca led the game twice, winning 1-0, then 2-1, and then finally against 3-2 to Real Madrid, with Bellingham getting a late goal, and then Vinny and Vasquez both getting involved in 2 goals each, getting a goal and an assist for the goal, and a following assist. So big result at the top of La Liga, that is, and it pushes Real Madrid into position to probably go on and win La Liga this year. Under Ancelotti and Bellingham's first year, he could do the double. Girona win 4-1 against Cadiz and keep them Champions League hopes alive, which is it's nice to see. It's going to be good to see a team like Girona in the Champions League next year with the new format. We'll see how they do, but they are going to get ripped apart like Monaco did when Mbappe came through and then he'd been out of Silva and stuff like that. That Girona team is going to get ripped apart next year. And then Vigo winning 4-1 against Las Palmas as well was the only other highlightable thing from La Liga there. And then the Bundesliga, once again, Leverkusen leave it late to keep that unbeaten season run alive. 97th minute equaliser to keep him in the game against Dortmund, and a 1-1 draw takes him through. Bayern winning 5-1, Kane getting yet another goal, but they're just taking that anger out that they've not won the league, and they might push on into the Champions League final. You might see another Bayern Dortmund Wembley final, which would be very interesting. Mr. Wembley's not there anymore, obviously. And then another game from that one is Hoffenheim 4, Gladbach 3. That's an interesting game to watch, honestly. Goals galore in the Bundesliga, as always. It's always fun to watch. Now on to my topic of the week, and I said that topic is the FA Cup replays being scrapped. It's disgraceful. I think I stand with a lot of people here by saying it is disgraceful, and with the fact that it was only the Premier League teams that were consulted about it, like, I understand it. With the Champions League changing next year, there's going to be 2 extra games, which is going to congest the thing, but the whole point of being in the Champions League is to want to play these games. You can always say you don't want to be in the Champions League, you can always say you don't want to play in the FA Cup, but you don't want to, because that the fans won't be happy with that, so you find ways to not play in them by going, oh, but if we draw, we're just going to go to penalties, we're just going to get a game over with. I think there should be some massive advantage here towards these lower league teams, because if a team like Arsenal plays against, I don't know, Dagenham and Redbridge, and Dagenham and Redbridge get a draw against Arsenal at the Emirates or something, just this hypothetical situation here, Dagenham and Redbridge should win that game then, right? That's how it should be. If a lower league team manages to get a result against a Premier League team now, a draw being a result there, then it should put them through. It should just put that lower league team through. You know, the Prem teams don't want to play the games. They don't want to play the games. That's why they don't want the replays. They obviously do not want to play the games. So if a draw does occur, allow the other team to go through. Allow the other team to pass. There you go. You want the games. The money's good for you. You've earned a result here against someone who has got a lot more money than you. So yeah, you go through, you get the money to go into the next round, and you play against another team that might get a result against you. And it would also add to the joy of the FA Cup doing something like that. It would. It would allow these small teams to go through. I'm not saying do that for like if, you know, a Championship team plays a League 2 team. Keep it how it is. Keep it how it is. You know, have a replay. You know, because if a replay is needed, play a replay. But with the Premier League teams, they've said they don't want replays. All right, that's good. So if you're going into a game and, you know, as I said, if United were to draw the game against Maidstone or something like that, right, Maidstone win. Like United were today against Coventry. Against Coventry, that 3-3. Coventry should have gone through. I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, we deserve to go out of the competition. We ultimately deserved to go out of the competition today. I will say that. I hated watching today. After the 60th minute, it was painful. The team fell apart. The team had no joy about it. And honestly, I cannot describe what happened to you. That's how bad it was. But I feel if we don't want to play the replays, I know the replay was not available today, but that's what I'm saying. If that situation happened where a lower league team gets the result, that gets that draw against a team like United, it shouldn't be down to the fact of right now to go to penalties because they want to get game over quick, just get some penalties, and then look, the Premier League team's won because they've got a goalkeeper who's on 200 grand a week when the club that they're playing against doesn't even make 200 grand in the fucking year, right? That's disgusting. That is truly disgusting. And it doesn't allow for magic of the FA Cup. It kind of kills magic of the FA Cup because them replays help fund the clubs, you know, because a replay gets put on TV for someone like a smaller team and then they go, oh yeah, you know, they make a bit of money off it. Happened in the Blackburn-Newcastle game. Blackburn got money off that game and it helps Blackburn out. It helps with FFP. It's a penny in the pond for a club in the Premier League. But for a lower league team, it means everything in the FA Cup, and that's how it should be. It should be in the favour of the smaller clubs. If the bigger clubs don't want to play the games, that's fine. Fuck off. Allow the smaller teams to do it. That is in this video, guys, before I get too irate about it, because it's a really disgusting decision from the FA. You know, he's got other things to focus on. They've got other things to focus on when they're too busy pushing games out for the bigger clubs. Get them 115 charges side and then start talking about what you can do for other clubs. But yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. If you like the video, please leave a like. You want to see more, subscribe, because that's much appreciated too. Thank you for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll see you next time. But cheers for watching now. Cheers.